The word freelance, it's not wrong, but it's not quite right either. And if you use it the way most learners do, you might sound like someone who read a dictionary, but has never actually talked to a freelancer. Stick with us for the next 10 minutes, and you'll learn the 5 words that native speakers actually use when they talk about gig work. By the end, you'll be able to describe your freelance life in a way that sounds completely natural in an American conversation.
Wait, Maya, you're saying freelance is wrong? That's basically one of the first words I learned in English class.
It's not wrong, Leo, it's just incomplete. And used in the wrong way, it can sound very textbook. Think of it like this. You know how you learned, hello, how are you, I'm fine, thank you, in school.
Oh no, don't tell me that's wrong too.
I'm not saying it's wrong, but does any native speaker actually say, I'm fine, thank you, in real life?
Fair point. We say I'm good or not bad or something like that.
Exactly. Same idea with freelance. The word itself is real, but the way many learners use it, that's where it gets a little disconnected from how we actually speak. So let's start with the biggest one. Leo, how would you say I'm a freelance worker in English?
I would say exactly that. I'm a freelance worker. Is that wrong?
Let me ask you this. When's the last time you heard an American say he's a freelance worker?
That's actually a good question. I don't think I've ever heard that.
Right, because native speakers don't say freelance worker. We say freelancer, one word, just freelancer. Or freelance as an adjective before a role like freelance writer or freelance designer, but never freelance worker. That sounds like you're translating from another language word by word.
So I should say I'm a freelancer?
Perfect. Or I do freelance work, or I work as a freelancer. But freelance worker, cut that one. It's like saying teacher worker. You don't need the worker part.
That makes so much sense. Okay, what are some other words?
Let me give you the 5 most important ones. First is freelancer. We covered that. Second is contractor. Third is 1099 worker. Fourth is platform worker. And fifth, this is a big one, side hustle now. Each of these has a slightly different meaning, and the cultural context matters a lot.
Okay, I need to hear about contractor and 1099 worker. Those sound very official.
They are official, but in everyday conversation, Americans use them all the time. A contractor is someone who works on a contract basis for a company, but they're not an employee. So if you're a graphic designer and you get hired by 3 different companies for 3-month projects each time, you're a contractor.
So it's like a temporary worker?
Sort of. But the word temporary worker, or temp, often has a slightly lower status in the workplace. It sounds like someone who fills in when someone is sick or on vacation. A contractor sounds more professional, more like a specialist who is hired for their specific skills.
Got it. And 1099 worker? That one sounds like a robot model number.
It does, doesn't it? A 1099 is actually a tax form in the US. When you work as a freelancer or contractor, the company doesn't take taxes out of your paycheck. You have to pay your own taxes, and the form they give you at the end of the year is called a 1099. So people say I'm a 1099 worker to mean I'm self-employed and I file my own taxes.
That is very American. You have a tax form as a job title.
It's practical. Americans love turning paperwork into identity. Anyway, platform worker is newer. This refers to people who work through digital platforms like Uber, DoorDash, Upwork, Fiverr. If you drive for Uber, you're a platform worker. If you do graphic design projects through Upwork, you're a platform worker.
So platform worker is specifically app-based?
Exactly. And then side hustle, this is my favorite. A side hustle is something you do for extra money outside your main job. So if you work at a bank from 9 to 5, but you sell handmade candles on Etsy on weekends, that's your side hustle.
I love that word, side hustle. It sounds so active.
It does, and it's extremely common in American English right now. You'll hear people say, I'm working on my side hustle, or my side hustle is photography.
Okay, Maya, I'm going to try to use these. Here's my attempt. I am a freelance worker. I do some platform work on Upwork, and I also have a side hustle selling coffee. Is that good?
Almost. You made a small mistake. What was it?
Did I say freelance worker again?
You did.
Ugh, I keep doing that.
It's okay. That's exactly the kind of mistake that tells me you're learning. So let's correct it. Repeat after me. I am a freelancer.
I am a freelancer.
Good. Now, the rest of your sentence was great. I do platform work on Upwork, and I also have a side hustle selling coffee. That sounds completely natural,
Really? I got it right?
except for the first part, the freelance worker part. But that's the most common mistake I hear from learners. Mandarin speakers, especially. In Chinese, ziyu zieze literally contains the word for worker or person, so it's very natural to translate it as freelance worker. Spanish speakers often say trabajador, freelance, which also translates directly. Arabic speakers sometimes add a word for employee to freelance. So if you're making this mistake, it's because your first language is helping you build a sentence that makes sense in your language, but doesn't work in English.
That's actually really helpful to know. It's not just me being bad at English.
Exactly. It's a pattern. And now that you see it, you can fix it. So let me give you a challenge. I want you to describe your work situation using at least 3 of the 5 words from today.
Okay, let me think. I work as a contractor for a tech company. I do some platform work on the side, and my side hustle is writing blog posts for small businesses.
Perfect. That is a flawless sentence. You used contractor, platform work, and side hustle, and you didn't say freelance worker once.
I didn't? I feel so proud.
You should. Now, I want to talk about one more thing, the cultural rule behind all of this. Because in the US, how you describe your work says a lot about your identity.
What do you mean?
Americans tie their identity very closely to their work. When you meet someone at a party, the first question is almost always, "What do you do?" And your answer matters. If you say I'm a freelancer, that's fine. But if you say I'm a contractor for a major software company, that sounds more serious, more established. If you say I do platform work, that might sound like you're still figuring things out.
So the word choice changes how people see you?
Absolutely. And here's the part that surprises most people. Many Americans actually prefer the word contractor over freelancer because it sounds more professional, especially in higher paying fields. If you're a consultant making $200,000 a year, you call yourself a contractor, not a freelancer.
Wait, so freelancer has a lower status?
Not exactly lower, but it can sound less stable, less established. Think of it this way. Freelancer often makes people think of creative work like writing, design, photography. Contractor sounds like a professional who has specific expertise, and platform worker is usually for gig economy jobs like driving or delivery.
So if I'm doing graphic design, should I say freelance graphic designer or contractor?
Both work, but in a professional conversation, I recommend I work as a design contractor, or I'm a freelance designer. The first one sounds more business-oriented. The second one is totally fine too. The key is to choose the right word for the situation.
This is such good advice. I've been saying freelance worker for years and nobody ever corrected me.
People don't usually correct in conversation. That's why podcasts like this exist. All right, let's do a quick practice round. I'll say a description of someone's work situation, and you tell me which word from today's list fits best.
I'm ready.
First one, Maria works at a hospital full-time, but on weekends she sells handmade jewelry online. What is this?
Side hustle.
Perfect. Second one, David does software development projects for different companies. Each project lasts about 6 months. He's not an employee of any of them.
Contractor.
Great. Third one, Jenny drives for Uber and does delivery orders on DoorDash. She doesn't have a main office. She uses apps to find work.
Platform worker.
Excellent. You got them all right. Now, one last thing. Here's a sentence that will help you remember today's main lesson. Say this to yourself, I am a freelancer, not a freelance worker.
I am a freelancer, not a freelance worker.
Perfect. That's your mantra for the week. And if you're listening, repeat that sentence out loud right now. Even if you're on the bus, it will lock the correction into your brain.
I just repeated it 3 times in my head.
Good. Now, here's what I want you to do today. Go out and describe your work to someone using at least 2 of the words we learned. If you're not working right now, describe the work you want to do. Use freelancer, contractor, platform work, or side hustle, and pay attention to how natural it feels.
That's a great challenge. I'm going to practice at dinner tonight with my roommate.
Perfect. And if you want more real English like this, hit that subscribe button. We release a new episode every single day. Business, culture, conversation skills, vocabulary, you name it. And we keep it real. No textbook nonsense.
Just real English for real life.
Exactly. Today's rule: swap freelance worker for freelancer and instantly sound more natural.
Thanks, Maya.
Thanks, Leo. See you next time.